Hey guys! Welcome back to another episode of the Becoming Benjamins podcast. I'm Jade.
I'm Corey.
And this is the Becoming Benjamins podcast, like I said. For those of you who are returning, we just want to say welcome. And for those of you that are tuning in for the first time, we want to say welcome to you too. Thank you for being with us. And we're excited that you're here. I'm excited today. You're excited?
I'm excited. Absolutely.
It's going to be good. It's going to be good. We're going to just get right into it.
Yeah.
Today we wanted to talk about finding your balance.
Yeah.
So we're just going to talk about different things that deal with that. And how do you find your balance?
Yeah, I think a lot of this came about, we were having a conversation about all of this, and I thought about when I was back in medical school, you would ask me, what do you do for fun? And I was surprised that I had no answer. I had no answer because I would usually just spend 7 days in a row just studying, and I just never really had any outlets, just doing anything other than studying.
Mm-hmm.
And then we had a conversation or a discussion about that I used to golf, or learn how to golf when I was younger, and used to golf, and we lived near a Topgolf location, and we went there and I ended up golfing, so
let's just back up a little bit. So when I asked him, what do you do for fun? When we're trying to figure out like a hobby for Corey to do, because he's working 7 days a week and nonstop. Basically, I asked him, what do you do for fun? And if any of you are SpongeBob fans, you'll get this reference, but it's the SpongeBob episode where all the little SpongeBobs were in his head because he forgot his name, and they're like running around like, oh, where's his name? Where's the name? Where's the name? Literally, that was Corey when I asked him, what do you do for fun? His eyes just like went blank, and it was just like, fun, like, what is fun? Like, it was the craziest thing. And so we go to Topgolf, and he hits the ball, and I'm just like, like, that sounds kind of sharp there. Like, I know you said you did lessons when you were a kid, years ago, but it sounded kind of, I mean, it's giving Tiger Woods a bit. Like, I don't know. It's just like, there's something you're not telling me. So that opened up a whole new conversation. Like, well, you said you golf, but like, oh my, that was a surprise to me. A good surprise, because he found a new hobby.
Absolutely. So, which is always great, right? That's another outlet that I have available to me. And so for you, like, just roasting me while complimenting me, it's great. What would you say, or was one of your first times when you realized that you needed to balance yourself as well?
Probably I would say back at one of my previous jobs, it was just a time where they were asking a lot of me at the job. At the same time, I was being asked a lot at church while serving and things like that. So it was just the demands of job, the demands of serving. I'm saying yes to everyone, trying to please everyone, trying to be there for everyone. And I literally had a breakdown at my job. I could not get myself together. I could not stop crying. I had to go home because I could not get myself together. And after that time, I actually wound up going to a therapist to just try to break down, like, as they say, like, open that up a bit. Like, what's going on? Like, why couldn't I get myself together? And she helped me to realize it's because I wasn't setting proper boundaries. And I'm trying to be everything to everyone and not trying to hurt anyone's feelings. By not hurting anyone's feelings, I'm actually hurting myself and actually, just kind of going crazy inside. Yeah. So that's not healthy. It's not healthy. And my biggest thing is always, I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings. I don't want to be mean. But you can set proper boundaries by being kind, in a kind way. You can be firm, but kind. You don't have to be mean. And she helped me to realize also that you're not going to make everyone happy. Not everyone is going to be okay with you saying no to them. And that's just the reality of it. And you just have to be okay with that, because it's not worth your peace at the end of the day. Like, your peace of mind is everything. And you, well, for me, speaking up and using my voice just gave me so much peace and helped me to have that boundary. And it's something that I've carried with me at work, in life, since then, up until this present moment. And yeah, it's just, I'm just so glad that I had that moment, because now I know what to do. I know how to set boundaries. Sometimes it's still hard for me, but like, I've come a long way, and I'm just very proud of the progress that I've made and where I am. Like, it's okay to say no.
No, I just want to say I'm super proud of you too for how you've been able to build boundaries, because we've had so many conversations about this as well.
Mm-hmm.
But where you were to where you are now is awesome. And I think a lot of you structured a lot of this around what are your just non-negotiables, right? I think that's something one of the really important things when you're finding that balance is, what are the things you're just never going to say yes to? What are the things that you have to say that have to happen?
Mm-hmm.
I thought, for myself, sometimes when in residency, sometimes I only have one day off a week. And during early part of time in residency, I was working for almost 3 months straight on Sunday. And going to church, super duper important to me. And not working for 3 months at a time, working on a Sunday, not being able to get to church, I felt so out of whack, right? And so I made a point to tell those who were making the schedule that, listen, I need to be off on Sundays. I need to be able to get to church. And that was something that I realized this is so important to me. I knew it was important to me, but I came to further realize how important that was to me, right? And I realized this is a non-negotiable for me. I have to get off on Sundays. I have to be able to, get to church as well. And so, I think a lot of, we're thinking a lot about these, finding balance is about kind of, framing, these boundary lines that you have as well. As we've talked about what it looks like when we came to realize when we need to balance ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
But how would you describe?
It's another thing I wanted to mention too.
Oh, sorry.
Just sidebar, how he was talking about making time, or really he didn't know what was going to happen. By asking, it was kind of risky, but thankfully it worked out. And I just want to emphasize the point of, when you make time for God, He will make time for you. Mm-hmm. Like, no matter what you may need, He will make time for if you keep Him first. So don't be afraid to, put your foot down. Like he's saying, the non-negotiables. Don't be afraid to, stand your ground on certain things. Like, we don't compromise for God. Like, mm-hmm. we keep Him first in His rightful place, and He works everything out for us. Absolutely. In the end. So just want to say that too. But as you were saying,
period.
Oh gosh.
But we've talked about, what it looks like for us personally, and forming our boundary lines and finding that balance as well. But how would you describe kind of, how you've been able to find balance amongst your own personal relationships, whether that be with friends or loved ones as well? Like, what does that look like for you?
Yeah, for me, it's been super important for me, like ever since before we even got married. I just knew that I never wanted to be in a relationship where it's me and my man against the world, and I'm dropping all of my friends and it's just me and my man. Like, no. Like, yes, it's me and my man, but it's not us against the world. Like, my friends that I had before I was married, I still have. I know some people, some people are for a certain season in your life, but I'm not going to drop all my friends that I had before we got married. Like, those are my girls. Mm-hmm. And just having those friends, keeping those friends, maintaining those relationships, and also meeting new friends while we've been together has been so important. So just pretty much what I'm trying to say is having friendships outside of your marriage, having girls that you can talk to. For me, girls that I can talk to has been so helpful in helping to have balance in my life. And I'm so grateful for all of them. They've been there for me, and I try to be there for them. It's mutual, and yeah, I don't think that's ever going to change. So just maintaining, having healthy relationships, healthy friendships, really, adult friendships is super important, and having balance in your life. What would you say?
No, I couldn't agree more. I think one of the things that we talked a lot about was that, family's so important, friendships are so important. Those are the individuals who, are really, it's important to have a community, right? Just having just the two of us, it's fantastic, right? But, being able to have people who you're able to be accountable to. Like I have an older brother, younger brother, I have guys who are brothers to me as well, like brothers to me as well, who I've known for years and years and years, known even longer than we've known each other, right? And you could say the same for many of the young ladies who you're friends with, right? And there are times where I just wanted to talk about sports or talk about things that, you may not be as interested in, right? Having those other outlets where you're able to talk about other things and just be able to have time to be able to, converse with, people who are, were like-minded individuals, just hang with your boys, be able to have that time, right? Where you may need a girls' night. Go have yourself a girls' night. I may need a boys' night. But it's like, at the end of the day, it's super important to be able to have that balance between those two, because, you never want to feel like it's just you two and there's nothing else. There's no other people, no other things you're able to look and do or interest you're able to, you want to be able to have that nice balance between everything.
Yes,
I think
balance
that helps keep your sanity,
Yes, absolutely. Like, I couldn't agree more. I'm so grateful for my friends. So love you guys.
Oh goodness.
But anyways, so
but speaking of community, speaking of having your tribe as well with you, how would you now what is like? Do you feel like find that balance, or how we've been able to strike that balance within our own personal relationship, within our own marriage as well?
Yeah, so I would say definitely what's been crucial and super important for us has been communicating. Whatever it may be, whether it's talking about our schedule for the week or something we may need, something we may want. It's been so helpful in communicating whatever that may be. That helps us to have balance, really just communicating and talking everything through. It's an ongoing thing that's ever evolving. And just keeping that flow of communication open has been super, super crucial for us, for helping us to have balance in our, relationship. And then another thing that's been helpful in us having balance, keeping balance, is, for example, we try to every day eat dinner together at the table. And I mean, just being able to commune together without having any devices or any distractions, and just talking to each other. That's helped us to have balance too, I would say.
Absolutely.
It's just super important to be able to reconnect, even if it's just for a few minutes. Because I know, Corey's busy. A lot of times he comes home and it's eat and back to doing more work. But just having that time has helped us to have balance. It helps him to unwind, helps me to unwind, helps us to connect and just be in balance with each other.
Right. I think, for me personally, I think when we communicate, we realize that there are things that we don't realize they're affecting each other until we talk about it. Like, oh wow, I didn't realize you not knowing this part of my schedule throws this part of your schedule off. Right. Having that open communication about just what does our day look like? What are the things we need, like both emotionally, spiritually, physically, all those things. Communicating those things are so very important, right? Because we help each other, we balance each other, we help each other, lift each other up. We, whether we talk about something and we realize we need to pray about that. We really need to go before the Lord about that, right?
True.
And encouraging each other in when we have some difficulties, right? It's all through communicating, right? And I think that's one of the things that, one of the main threads through all of this is like finding your balance really goes through communicating, right? You have to talk about things and talk through things, right?
Talk to people.
And the most important line of communication is with Christ, right? Because at the end of the day, Christ is the one who's going to help you figure out what you should be saying yes to, what you should be saying no to, right? Those are that, whenever you're trying to figure out what to do next, when you're in tune with Christ, when you are plugged in,
Praying about it.
when you're praying about it
Mm-hmm.
with your significant other, with your family, with those who you're trying to figure out what to do next, He's going to help you. And a lot of times, at least as for me, I've found there were times when my boundary lines was really narrow, and I felt really comfortable. And Christ was like, no, I'm giving you this situation so you can move those boundary lines out a little bit more, right? And I may get a little worried or fearful, but be reminded of Christ has given you something. He's not giving you something more than what you can bear,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so you can handle it.
Mm-hmm.
He was going to give you the ability to do it.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to give you the understanding about how to go about it.
Mm-hmm.
And before you know it, you're going to be walking in your purpose and
Mm-hmm.
realizing like, oh, wow, I can do all this. I can do each one of these things.
I can balance it all.
I can balance it all. I can
Mhm.
balance it all.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so, but yeah, we'll talk more about how we communicate with one another and how we've grown through that as well.
Mm-hmm.
A separate episode, but yeah,
Yeah, it's been good.
yeah.
It's good to have balance.
Yeah.
It's an ongoing thing. Like, we're not perfect, obviously, but yeah, we're doing it.
We're doing it.
We're doing it.
We're doing it.
So I'm grateful.
I am too.
So yeah, so thank you again, you guys, for another episode with us. We're so glad that you tuned in. And I just want to say, of course, like, comment, subscribe, and share this video with all your friends and family, whoever you may know. We really, really appreciate it. We love you guys, and thank you for all your support. And we'll see you next time. Bye.